From Big Sam to the Bearcats, pride runs deep and strong. In Huntsville, Texas, we sing our song. With love and hospitality, we open up our doors. In this beautiful town, blessings we explore. Sting 'em hornets, beat 'em up cats, Sound Houston State, where dreams are at. Good morning, Huntsville, we find our way, guided by God's love every single day. From parks and recreation, where children laugh and play, to the historical treasures that take our breath away. In the piney woods, we find peace and rest. Huntsville, Texas, truly blessed. With love and hospitality, we open up our doors. In this beautiful town, blessings we explore. Sting 'em hornets, eat 'em up cats, Sound Houston State, where dreams are at. Good morning, Huntsville, we find our way, guided by.
Well, hey, good morning, Huntsville. Welcome into another edition of Good Morning Huntsville as we get rocking and rolling here on a Walker County Federal Credit Union Wednesday. I'm Rob Hipp. Taylor Chandler will be here with us momentarily. And also today, great show lined up. I'll just give you a preview right out of the gate. We're expecting our friends from Postcards Magazine to be here a little bit later this morning. We're also going to have Chris Brown from Jump Around Moonwalks come on and talk about a very important event coming up, I believe, on Saturday evening. So we got a great show lined up here on a Wednesday. As we get rolling this morning, I want to give a special shout-out, as always, to our great friend Elliot Herzlich from Elliot's Jewelers. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com for all of your jewelry needs. Go see my good friend. Again, it's Elliot Herzlich. You can find out more information, schedule that appointment for all of your jewelry needs. I'm telling you, friends, if you're thinking about getting married, maybe you need to get something for the spouse. You've been in trouble lately. Elliot can get you out of trouble. Go by his website, set up the appointment. It's elliotsjewelers.com. We appreciate his generous support. And, of course, here on this Wednesday, we could not do it without Walker County Federal Credit Union. They are your full-service hometown community credit union, serving Walker County since 1957. We are here, episode number 593, as we are getting closer to that 600th episode. And I want to go ahead and get you guys to mark this on your calendar. Next Friday will be an opportunity for us to have our hometown spotlight. We get to do this once in a while, about once a quarter or so, and we are going to be at Cafe Texan next Friday morning live with the show. They're going to open up a little bit early. Breakfast will get started at 8, but if you want to come by and hang out to celebrate our 600th episode, Tiffany Gobble, Vance Howard, and the great staff over there, they're going to open up a little bit early and allow us to be in there to have our show. And so we're really looking forward to that. Every 100-episode milestone, we try to celebrate somewhere. And so we're going to bring the hometown spotlight to Cafe Texan again next Friday. So make sure you mark your calendars. Last time we did this, we had our 500th episode at the Sam Houston Community Room. Had a lot of folks, about 30 or so people come out for that show. And some great opportunities to meet new people. We even had the Huntsville Fire Department come out and hang out with us that morning. And so we would love for you to come on and celebrate that with us. Well, friends, as we get started this morning, I didn't have a show yesterday, and I didn't put a lot out there about why. We had to unfortunately put our dog down yesterday, and he was a big part of the family. And he's with us over 10 years, and so we'd already planned that. It was a tougher decision. It's always a tough decision, but it was a really tough decision with him because he was still full of so much life. And the tumors, 6 months or actually 8 months ago, we had noticed a tumor, and many of you helped and supported us, and we appreciate that. We had a pretty major surgery to remove one of those tumors at the time, and we felt. And even the Blue Pearl Animal Hospital had felt that everything was good. They said, wow, this thing should have came back high grade. It came back low grade. They had clear margins, and they said he may be good for another couple of years. But they said these things pop up. It's going to be more consistent now, unfortunately. And the unfortunate news is, another one popped up pretty quick, and this thing grew massively, and then it turned into two of them. And so We were out yesterday, and the tumors had opened up about 3 weeks ago. And at the time when we had taken him to the vet, Dr. Duvall at Huntsville Vet Clinic was very nice, and he said, no, he goes, I wouldn't put him down right now. He said, but when he gets to a point, you'll know. And unfortunately, about a week ago, we started seeing signs that we knew that time was coming. And those tumors had opened up a little bit. We kept bandaging them up, but then we found another pretty substantial opening that would have been pretty hard to keep that one, closed up. The other two healed, but the tumor was still so massive. And so I already knew in my heart what we had to do. And when we got him there yesterday, Dr. Duvall said, yeah, he goes, man, if you guys are ready, he goes, now's the time to do this. And it's hard. My wife was up last night and she was weeping throughout the night, and my heart just breaks for her. That was, I won't say it was like my love offering, but he was in a way. Bridget and I had been dating a few months, and I knew she was the one, even though it took like 8 years later to finally get married. We were engaged for a long time, but she told me she wanted a golden retriever, and that's how he came about. I had a friend in Georgetown, Tammy Katowski, and she was so good to us. This was back in the day when, if you got a full-bred puppy, you could get them without having to cut off your arm or your leg. And somebody had told me, I just want to say this real quick. Somebody had told me, I'll never forget. They said, you're contributing to the puppy problem in America by getting that dog. And I said, how's that? And they told me, they said, because you need to get a rescue instead. I'll never forget this. And so this particular person had children, and I'll never forget. I said, these children, are they your biological children? Well, yeah, of course they are. I said, well, why didn't you adopt? I said, there's a lot of children in the world that need to be adopted. And he goes, well, it's different. I said, well, not really. You're telling me that I should rescue a puppy. There's children that need to be adopted. And, we got into a nice dialogue, and, no stones were thrown or anything. But it's kind of funny because later on I did have a rescue dog, and now we still have her, Stella. And that's a big thank you to our friend, Frank Oliveris, who had, posted online 3 or 4 years ago these puppies that some jerk threw out of a moving vehicle there in Crabs Prairie, and he was able to, his neighbor got him, and that's how we have Stella. So anyways, long story short, Mac was part of our family, huge part of our family, and it's going to hurt. Last night it really hit me. Some of you may saw on my socials, just the way I grieve, I guess, but, the routine every night is Bridget will go bathe the children. Sometimes I'll bathe them too, but in a moment I'll usually go away and I'll feed the two dogs. And it was, I don't know, it was kind of surreal last night because that was the first time I hadn't filled his food in 10 years. And it hit me right there. It was like a river. It was like Niagara Falls opened up. And I'm not talking about the American side. I was on the Canadian side, the beautiful view of the falls. And, it was pretty rough, but I look back at it and I think about this, that, we got to spend a really good quality day with him yesterday. We took him on a walk. I walked him through part of the neighborhood, and it was hard for him to start walking. And then we just let him have whatever he wanted. So we went to Whataburger yesterday, and he loaded up on fries, and they even, I guess they're not like Chick-fil-A, because I asked for a pup cup, and they were like, oh, we don't normally do that. And I wasn't like asking in a bad, I was like, well, dude, is there any way you can like make an exception? I'll even pay for it. I said, we're about to put my dog down in like an hour. I'd like for him to have a little ice cream. And the guy was really nice, and he goes, no problem, man. So he came out and brought that. And then we went to the duck pond, and this was such a good fitting story for how his last day was. Our golden, as most golden do, love people. Now, he was a different breed. He didn't like other dogs. It was really strange. He was actually kind of aggressive to other dogs. I don't know if it was like a protective thing where we were his only, caretakers, and he didn't want nobody else he didn't want us loving on any other dog. Over time, he would develop friendships, I guess you could say, with other dogs. But the first reaction, he didn't like other dogs at all, ever. He was extremely aggressive towards other dogs. But people, I never worried about him around people. And it was so fitting because yesterday we're at the duck pond, and 2 girls from Sam Houston State University walk up. And that was one of his last interactions with people outside of us, was letting those 2 girls just love on him and pet him. And he was wagging his tail. And it was a really special day. And then if you're part of the Sam Houston police or the Sam Houston overseer of that park over there, he did not injure the ducks, but he managed to find one hiding in a little brush thicket over there, and he ran that duck out of there. So we had to grab him real quick and be like, "No, dude, don't do that." The only thing that was pretty tough is he really wanted to jump in that water. He loved being in water. And so, we didn't let him in that. But I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Duvall at Huntsville Pet Clinic. He is such a caring man, and we were able to be there. And Dr. Duvall gave me a hug afterwards. And I'm telling you, the way to do it, don't wait. I'm just doing this as a PSA. Do not wait until your dog, if you know that he's going to suffer, don't wait until the suffering starts. That was it was the hardest decision. I've had to put down 2 other dogs before, and I love those dogs. My little Jenny, that was my special dog. She was 20 years old. I mean, that dog was a huge chunk of my life. Mac was a fourth of my life. But with Jenny, she had got to the point to where she was suffering. Her little belly had blown up, and it was terrible. That final night and that final day. And with Mac, we knew that this was coming. And could he have probably made it another 2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, absolutely. But he would have been suffering. And so my challenge to you this morning is, I know it's difficult for many of you that are dog lovers like my wife and I, or pet lovers, even cats. I don't know how y'all love cats, but y'all do, some of y'all, and that's okay. That's your thing. But they're all part of the family. And don't wait until that moment of suffering. Make the decision. It is with pets, it's an ethical thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. One of the hardest things you'll ever do, but make that decision. Hey, before we have Karen Altum on, Karen is here with us from Postcards, our great friend. We're going to chat with Karen here in just a few moments. I wanted to comment on something. We're also going to have Chris Brown a little bit later on the show. He's going to be talking about a very important event that's going to be coming up here in Huntsville this weekend. I felt like Sunday was going to be the biggest day for churches in a long time, even bigger than Easter. And, with everything that happened last week, and it's tragic for someone to lose their life. And I've been open about this, and I'm not being political at all. I'm being honest about this, that we need to be able to have honest discussions. We need to be able to have dialogue. We need to be able to talk to people in an honest way and not be worried about violence, that someone's going to come at us. And I felt like, because of everything that happened last week and the terrible, news with Charlie Kirk and all that happened last week, I felt like Sunday was probably going to be one of the biggest days that we've seen in churches across America. And we saw it here, and I've talked to other churches here in Huntsville, and we prayed for that. We prayed, Lord, fill every single church to capacity, even more than capacity. Let people be outside wanting to get in. And we didn't see people banging on the doors trying to get in here, but we did see a full sanctuary on Sunday, one that we haven't. I mean, we've been seeing increased numbers here at First and all over the community, especially young people. Somebody had posted a while back that they said, I saw this across my feed somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where, but they said that we're in need of a spiritual revival in our country. Dr. Alvin Jones has been very outspoken about his faith and a miraculous healing of pancreatic cancer, which unfortunately that's one of the tough ones that they don't find out until it's really late developed, because you don't notice it until it's late. And Dr. Jones here in Huntsville was healed of his pancreatic cancer. He's very open about how the Lord healed him and his faith and healing. And we just love Dr. Jones. And he has been praying for spiritual revival for years. And he is one that has helped lead the National Day of Prayer for quite some time here in Huntsville. And through him, I've seen the spiritual revival, even before, events over this last week. And so I wanted to say this. I posted this yesterday, and I hope that all of you latch on to this morning. Then we'll have Karen on. I said, I pray that this past week has taught us something. And I want to pause real quick on that first sentence. I pray this past week has taught us something. Many of us use prayer as a word of comfort, and it should be. I mean, it is a comforting thing. But when we pray, when we say, I'm going to pray for you, I want to challenge you. I learned this from Joshua Harris at the Oak Ridge Disciple House, and it was solidified through Dodie Osteen, one of the most powerful women of prayer that I've ever came in paths with, and she passed away just a few weeks ago. But Miss Dodie was so big on prayer. I want to challenge you. If you say, I'm going to pray for you, just pray for him right then and there. Pray for them right then and there. And so as I wrote this last night, I said, I pray this past week has taught us something. I prayed before I had wrote that. And I wanted to challenge you this morning in that same context. When you say you're going to pray, hey, man, I'm praying for you. Pray for them. I said, especially those who are Christian, put aside the petty differences. How many of us have so many petty differences in life? And I said, let go of the bitterness, anger, and rage. It comes right from Ephesians. The Bible reads this: the word reminds us to let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, and be kind to one another, tenderhearted. Listen at this. Be kind to one another. Be kind to, don't just say it, do it. Tenderhearted, forgiving one another, which is extremely difficult for many, even me. There's been situations that it's not easy to forgive, but we have to. And then it said, even as Christ forgave you. And you think about that this morning. And friends, I believe if we struggle, and I wrote all this, you can find it on my Facebook, but I said if we struggle to love our fellow man, our fellow person in life, maybe it's a reminder that God still has more work to do in our hearts. And I believe he always does, but maybe there's that extra push that we need. His desire is for us to live in unity and reflect his love. And friends, when we forgive, when we show kindness, when we walk together, his Spirit moves in a powerful way. And over this past week, I wrote this too. This is our moment to rise above the noise and be a light in the world that needs hope. And here's a question for you this morning. What if this week we truly lived that out loud in kindness and unity? I saw a lot of things. I have to be careful on social media because you see so many negative things, but I believe that the goodness overcomes the negative. In the media business, the minority has always been that 1% that make the noise, but for some reason, they get the most credit. Over this past week, I think we've seen that 99% finally get the credit that their due deserved. One thing that I've noticed are people coming together. I've noticed people holding vigils. We're going to talk about one coming up here in just a little bit. But I've noticed people trying to destroy those vigils. And you know, I didn't see any anger from, and I'm talking about physical anger. Now, people were angry, but I didn't see any physical anger, people pushing and shoving. And there was a Charlie Memorial Vigil, and they were painting something, and this girl had her hands in blue, and she was smearing it all over, and not one person around her was pushing her out of the way. They were just like, why are you doing this? Even in that moment of someone who was bringing to light something really negative about something that happened, there were still people that were saying, hey, we love you. How can you love someone in the midst of that? That's what we're called to do. So I just wanted to open with that this morning. We're going to have Karen Alton, Postcards Magazine. Let's take a brief break. Taylor will be joining us. She'll hop in on the discussion as well. So we'll step aside. We'll take a break. Hey, we are here on a Walker County Federal Credit Union Wednesday, and we appreciate all that they do. We couldn't have friends like Postcards and Chris Brown's if it wasn't for the generous support of Walker County Federal. They are your full-service community credit union, serving Walker County since 1957. Stay with us as we'll continue on. More to come. This is your show. It is Good Morning Huntsville here on this wonderful Wednesday. Stay with us.
Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
At Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, we're not just a place where children pass the time. We're a child care center focused on growth, learning, and discovery. Every day, children engage in meaningful activities that build confidence, independence, and a love for learning. From reading and math to social and practical life skills, our students are active participants in their development. Ready to give your child something more? Visit tomorrowspromise.info and discover what makes our school different. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, education you can trust.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope. Hey friends, this is Rob Hipp, and I'm here to talk about a true expert in the real estate world. Let me introduce you to my good friend, Terry Coleman of the Coleman Realty Group.
With 33 years in the business, I've dedicated my life to making your real estate dreams come true. Specializing in residential properties, I serve Walker and Montgomery counties, from Spring to Trinity and areas all around.
They call her your next door agent, and here's why.
I'm not just here to help you find a home or lease a property. I'm here to build lifelong relationships. Whether it's residential or commercial, farm or ranch listings, there's something for everyone.
Now you might wonder, what sets Terry apart from other real estate agents? Well, it's simple. She goes above and beyond for her clients, like the time she surprised a family from California with a fully decorated Christmas tree and gifts when they returned from closing. You shouldn't have to compromise on the joys of home during life-changing moments. So, if you're ready to make your real estate dreams come true, here's what you need to do.
Visit my website at myrealtorterry.com and let's make those dreams a reality.
That's Terry Coleman, your expert in all things real estate.
I'm Terry Coleman, your next door agent, and I can't wait to help you open the door to your new life.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Imagine a voice of hope reaching every corner of Huntsville, from homes and hospitals to prison walls. That's the heart of Spirit Radio. We're a truly local 501c3 nonprofit, and we're raising $25,000 to build our tower and get on the air. With your help, we'll broadcast encouragement, truth, and the love of Christ across our community and across the world through the Spirit Radio FM app. Visit spiritradio.fm and give today. Let's bring light to Huntsville and beyond together.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville. Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today. Braylon, say, "This is Spirit Radio."
This is Spirit Radio.
The spirit of Huntsville, Spirit Radio.
Hey, good morning, Huntsville. I swear the rain, there's something wrong with the National Weather Service. People are laughing. There's always something wrong with the weather. Whoever's over there at the airport in Huntsville spraying water on the sensor, can you please stop? because you're making me a liar on this show every morning. Every single morning it has said light rain. There's been no rain in the morning.
No.
According to Huntsville Municipal Airport, official weather tag KUTS, someone's being a cuts over there is what's going on. 72 degrees, that's probably right.
It does. It feels good outside.
Yeah.
But light rain, there's no rain.
There's no rain.
So whoever's doing the irrigation over at the Huntsville Municipal Airport,
Rotate it.
yeah, rotate the sprinkler head. That's a good one, Taylor. Rotate the sprinkler. All right, friends, well, welcome back in. It is 72 degrees. It's not raining. Today, though, a little 20% chance of rain will be in the forecast, high of 93. Same tomorrow as we go through the rest of the week. It's looking pretty good. The weekend going to be nice, by the way. 91 and sunny on Saturday. A little bit of rain back in the forecast Sunday, but just those little afternoon showers. However, next week, big chance of rain finally returns to the forecast Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, about a 40 to 50% chance of showers. So as far as this week goes, it's all good. And you know when it's all good here on the show? It's all good when Taylor Chandler's here. Welcome, Taylor. Good to see you.
Walker County
Walker County
Wednesday.
on a Walker County Federal Credit Union Wednesday. And it's all good when Karen Altum, the K.A. of Postcards Magazine. That don't even rhyme.
No, it doesn't at all.
Taylor's trying to think of
I'm
something.
like, I got nothing witty for this one.
Karen Altum, Postcards Magazine. Good to see you, Karen. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
I know we can't see them, but I love your glistening sandals
Just
this
like
morning. Yeah, I love that.
Sparkly.
He wants you to hike them up. And just,
Yeah, well,
I like
that,
how-
that ain't happening.
It's sparkly.
Back in my high school days, I could have done that. Not going to happen this morning.
I feel
Do
that.
you grunt when you get out of the car? I grunt every time I get out of the car.
No, because I have an SUV that's just in and out, and it's
Oh, it's just a
just
slide
a
on
slide
in.
in, slide out, you know.
Are you a grunter whenever you get out of your vehicle, Taylor?
I have a bad back. I grunt getting out of chairs. Like Lainey last night was like, "Can we play a card game on the floor?" And I'm like, "No, we sure can't. We can play it on the coffee table."
Every
I was a grunter prior to 2 knee replacements, but after that, I'm pretty good now.
Now you just slide
yeah,
on in.
just slide on in. And
Well,
out.
Karen Altum sliding on into the show today. So, what's going on, Karen? So good to see you. Thanks for
Thank
hanging
you.
out with us.
Thank you. Absolutely excited to be here.
I wanted to tell you first and foremost, Karen. I want. She doesn't want me to, but there's a little pedestal. I want her to
Oh,
a
good
virtual
grief.
pedestal. I want her to be on right now.
No.
When I started this program, Elliot was the first one that wanted to help me, but Karen immediately approached me. Karen does marketing here in Huntsville as well. She said, I think this would be a really good outlet for a lot of organizations to get their name out. And I'm proud to say that those organizations that we've partnered with under your care have been with us and have stayed with us, like Walker County Federal, like Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. I know you used to do marketing with Tomorrow's Promise as well. They've stayed with us. And Karen, without your assistance, this program, I don't believe, would have got off the ground the way that it needed to be sustainable now, coming up on 600 episodes on next Friday. So thank you for your
Absolutely.
support.
Take it one step further. Karen actually is who got me my job at the credit union.
Wow. All right.
So taking that one step further.
One pedestal higher.
Yeah.
We're going to have to put that bad boy on some little, what are those things
You're
called?
definitely gonna have to grunt getting in your car now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to jack that pedestal. We got the garage open.
I'm
We're
gonna
jacking
fix
it
to
up.
start groaning over here. Okay.
Just get up.
Stop it. Stop it.
Well, Karen, what's going on? How have you been?
Good. Just crazy busy. Just lots of stuff happening, and of course the magazine. We're actually today is production day for the magazine, so everybody looks at me like, "You're going where?" I said, "I won't be gone long. I promise."
Well, you're not running the machine, though, hopefully.
I am not. No, today is the day that we are doing all of the printing and the proofing and the checking to make sure everything's right and try to make sure there's no misspellings. And, this is the day that I look at things and go, those two colors clash on those two ads on that same page. So we're going to move some things around. It's just there's so much that goes into it. Nobody ever knows.
Have you ever published one and then after it got out, there was like a comma or a period missing, and then you're like, no.
No, because Karen's perfect. I'd never do that.
Oh, good grief.
I got you.
No, but we have my sweet husband. I call him the comma police. He's a retired police officer.
Comma police.
That I said, he really listened to his his high school English teacher. Apparently, she was one of those who would stand up on the desk and stomp if they really weren't paying attention. I mean, she was like serious about it.
Can't do that now.
And and so he really is great with the grammar and all that. So normally he's putting in a comma I left out or moving one but he's great. I told him, I said, you retired from being a police officer and became the comma police. So
Well, I'm taking online classes at Oral Roberts University right now. I'm about a year and 3 or 4 weeks into it, and my composition teacher last term, it's only 7-week terms, and it's all online. And we're encouraged to use Grammarly. Have you ever used Grammarly? This is a pretty cool little tool. It's built in. We get a free subscription through the university. It corrects commas and capitalization. And it'll even tell you, like, oh, that style of writing doesn't really sound like you. How do you know what I sound like? But it's right. Yeah, it knows. And so anyways, and it's usually right on the money. It really is. Yeah. I mean, it's good. I go through and write the paper, then I run it through Grammarly. It corrects little things here and there. Well, this teacher kept saying, she kept deducting points on my papers for misspellings and mispunctuations. And I went through, Karen, and I even had my wife look at it. I had other people. They're like, I even ran it through like ChatGPT just for the heck of it. There was nothing on it. Yet when she would comment, her replies to me were not capitalized correctly. There were no commas where there should have been commas. And these were on her notes where she deducted points. And her wording and grammar was incorrect, and she would misspell things. And I wanted to throw it back.
Oh, I would have had a really hard time not highlighting it, marking it, and sending it back.
She was giving me 95s.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those that didn't want to get, and I was frustrated.
She just didn't want to give 100.
No, and I was like, man, I've maintained a 4.0. I've worked really hard. And then I was going to be like, give a bad review and all that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's that website where you can grade teachers.
Yeah, the
rate my professor.
Rate my professor. Yeah, I was gonna. Well, the university asked us at the end of each term to rate their, and I was going to do it, but I finished the class with a 98, so I said, whatever, just I have some grace and just let it slide. See, that's the theme this morning.
Well, there's a difference in grace, and there's a difference in helping people be better
and being accountable
for things. So, she needs to learn too that I also have a mother that's a high school English teacher and taught dual credit courses. So, we had lots of English in our world. So.
I'm not very good at it. If you've watched this show, many of you, for some reason, have almost 600 episodes. I'm really bad at language, and not like colorful language. I'm really bad at finding the right words to say. Just like a while ago, I couldn't think that when you're in a garage, what raises up a car is a jack. I couldn't think of that word a while ago.
You were doing good, though. You were like, the thing that you pump
up.
The
lifter upper.
The lifter upper, yeah.
So, well, Karen, I know y'all been so busy at Postcards. Let us know. I know you've got some events that you want to highlight real quick, but just let us know a little bit more about the magazine. Maybe there's new people that are watching. We want to welcome you if you are this morning. We do have a lot of new audience. Tell us a little bit about the magazine, what y'all cover, and just how y'all tell us everything.
Okay. Well, we started this year is our 15th year, and we published 2 editions of the magazine. We began here in Walker County, and we delivered. It started. It was going to be really easy. It was going to be 10,000 copies a month, and do it quarterly. Just 10,000 copies a quarter. No big deal. And then after 2 issues, we had such a great response, and people were going, is that the new one? And we were like, no, we were just refilling a rack. And so we were like, okay, so we now publish 25,000 copies here in this area and market, and then we publish another 25,000 down in the Lake Conroe area because they started saying, hey, we want your magazine. And I was like, it's really not for you. It's community. We say community. It's what we do. And so we wanted to just remind people of why this is such a great place to live and just share positive. We just believe in sharing positive and highlighting things that are good and true and just keep people's mind focused in the right place.
I love the dogs. I love that you post pet pictures.
We share people's pets. We share people's grandchildren.
I'm like babies, but puppies.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, we know the minute that the magazine hits mailboxes because the first things that we get in every month are pets, always. So I'm like, yep, they're out there. So, boom, here they come.
Taylor's sitting there saying, put those babies on the back page. Those dogs need to be on the front page.
I love those.
And so
Baby's
it's a free magazine. It's mailed to a lot of areas. It's also rack dropped in high traffic areas. You can get them at the
Credit Union. I was
That's
going to say
right.
we have
County
them
Federal
there.
has some, but also it's online. Always. So all of our digital issues are there, or our issues are there digitally. You can flip through them, read them just like you're reading them online. We actually, at the chamber breakfast the other day, Noah Spear stood up and he said, I just want to tell you how Postcards gets around. He said, we had someone contact us from St. Louis who had read the article about the Lions Club benches that we do. And he said they want to know how to start that program up there. And he said, so Postcards Magazine in St. Louis, Missouri, he said, has started this. They're starting one up there because of reading it online.
There's a rap song about that goes, you can find me in St. Louis. Da, da, dun, dun. Chris, you know that one? Da, da, dun, dun,
I don't.
dun,
I will
dun,
take your
dun.
word for
I'm
it.
not going to say the rest of the lyrics, but
I'm going to need you to
Yeah.
Spotify that to me later. 'Cause,
I think there's some questionable lyrics in there.
colorful language.
Colorful language. Speaking of which, like Angel Studios, you know, they're like a Christian. You know, they apparently I haven't. It's one of those ads that keep flying through my feed on Instagram and now on Facebook too. That apparently there's some way that this company or some company related to them takes all the movies and like gets out all the bad things that
there used to
have
be
you heard of that?
I have, and there used to be back in
filter.
the days of DVDs. There was a player you could subscribe to, a DVD player. We did it when our kids were small. That you could put a DVD in the player and it would filter out the bad language. It was like. It was worth it when your kids were small and you wanted to watch something, but you were like, no.
Oh, my parents were like, yes, say it. Say it.
They were already ready.
Yeah. They're like, I know what comes up
I
next.
brought you into this world, like take you out.
You made me
Easy
think of another
peasy.
song. There's another song. I ain't a play, I just crush a lot. You ever hear that one?
No.
Chris knows that one. There we go.
I feel like I need more words.
Yes. I just needed to get at least one person finding one of these with me. Thank you, Chris.
But while we're talking about music,
yeah. See, this was a perfect
that
segue.
was a perfect segue.
Here we go. What
right
do we
into
got?
what we're doing.
Yeah.
So you remember a couple of years ago, Postcards did a concert that we brought to town with the three Heath brothers.
Awesome concert, by the way.
It was. And, you know, what was really fascinating, we did it as an outreach just for youth, to kind of have an event for the youth in the area to come and to do something, have something just for them, we thought. But we made tickets available for free to churches and to a lot of different groups and things. Well, what floored me were the people who came who were in their 70s and 80s, and I'm thinking, they're not gonna enjoy this. And they loved it. They were so excited, and they can't wait for them to come back. So that's the news. We're bringing them back.
Awesome.
So they are coming back November 15th, but we're super excited. We're doing this a little different this year. Well, we're doing it a lot different. When we had them here before, we had them at the Old Town Theater. The principal of the high school was there that night, and with some of the groups that were there, and he was so impressed at the time. He said, man, I'd love to have these guys back. Their story is amazing. They are three brothers. They're twins and an older brother. And they have a great story about the twins, and I'm not going to tell it because I'll let
Don't
them
spoil
share
it.
it. Huh?
So don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. It's worth coming to hear. But we're going to have the concert this year, November 15th. It's going to be their kickoff for their holiday concert. So it's a Christmas concert. It'll open the holidays for Thanksgiving and the Christmas season. It's going to be their kickoff for their nationwide tour.
Awesome.
And so we are going to have it at the Huntsville High School Performing Arts Center.
How cool is that?
So we have lots of room. The acoustics and the sound are going to be phenomenal. And then on top of proceeds from the concert, we are going to help the Huntsville ISD Social Services. And at that time of year, they're always needing help at Christmas and the holidays to help kids that are homeless. And we have between 300 and 400 students in our school district that are homeless or challenged in where they're staying, maybe living in their cars. Just lots of unbelievable that that's in our community, but it is. And so we're going to be looking for a couple of sponsors to help us with this. But we are so excited. Tickets are very, very affordable. They're on sale now.
Oh.
I checked this morning. It's 3heathbrothers.com. That's the 1, 2, 3. And then Heath, Heath. And so the tickets are only $25. That's general admission. They do have kind of a VIP experience that you can come earlier, be there for a sound check, watch kind of their back of house and how things come all together. Also do a Q&A with them, have a little time just spending, and they are super guys. I mean, by the time that they left, they were calling me Aunt Karen. I loved them. I told their mom and dad, kind of like we were talking about, I'm like, wow, these are fine young men. And so we are excited to bring them back.
Yeah, I looked here, and I think they link up to a website, aftontickets.com.
I think so, yeah.
And here's what's cool about this. I'll put it up. I know I'm kind of looking the other way because I'm looking this up right now. I'm going to make this a short URL for folks. And so let's see if this one works. I'm going to do 3 Heath HV. Let's see if this works real quick. It does. So this morning, if you go to tinyurl.com /3, again, tinyurl.com /3, 3 Heath, HEATH, did I say that right? 3 Heath HV. Go there, and I'll put it up on the screen. You can get those tickets. Here's something cool. I didn't realize this, Karen.
Well,
if you're 12 and under with
yeah,
an adult,
I was about to say, yeah,
no charge.
12 and under. If you have an adult with you, you're no charge. Free tickets for 12 and under.
Your daughter's 12 and under, right?
My daughter is 12 and under.
Free.
There you go.
Free.
All I can hear
Gratis.
is, I'm just going to take her and just be like, go see Aunt Karen.
Go see Aunt Karen.
Go.
She can come see Aunt Karen. I know that Kim Weezer of CASA, her daughter, their family came last time, and her daughter sat there, and Emmeline, and she, I think, might be the 3 Heath brothers' biggest fan now.
That's awesome.
But they're amazing, and the sound will be awesome, and it's going to be a great community event to come together, celebrate the holidays, kick it off, and we'll have some tickets for you to give away on the show
Thank you,
later, and so and we want to announce the sponsors as well.
Perfect. Well, that's it. tinyurl.com /3 Heath HV. That'll take you right to the order page.
Awesome.
Again, children 12 and under, 1 child per adult. So if you have, like us, Bridget and I have 2 children, it costs us $50 because it ain't gonna cost us $100. It gonna cost us $50.
It will not.
We went last time, Karen, to see these guys. Never even heard of them.
Right.
They roll in on this bus, Taylor. I mean, these are like VIP. I want to say kids, but they're growing up now really fast.
Yeah, they're college age.
But they roll in on this big bus.
They're
Says
kids.
3 Heath on the side of it. I mean, it's legit. It's parked right out in front of Old Town Theater. And we go in, and they're really, really good. And we took Braylon and Caden. And I won't forget because Marshall was there, your son, and his wife and their children. And they were all kind of playing in the back, you know. But we made it about halfway through, and then our kids got too rowdy.
They were little bitty back then.
We didn't have Aunt Karen was sitting up front, so
Fangirling.
Yeah, she's fangirling.
They're adorable. They're just adorable.
Well, this is great. And Karen, last year, thank you for bringing. I think about opportunities in Huntsville, and here's a great opportunity to hear a really well-known group, and they're continuing to grow, and it's going to be so fun. And I believe you may have mentioned this. I believe this is maybe the first event outside of HISD that is in the auditorium there, which is really good. And it's a beautiful facility.
It is. And they're being so gracious to allow us to do that because we are benefiting the school district. It's going back into the kids. And so we're excited about that and that opportunity to partner with them to do that. So.
Perfect. Well, mark your calendars. Again, it is November the 15th.
This concert will be at 7 p.m. Doors will open. I think it's 6:30, so 6:40, something. We'll figure that out later.
Tailgate out in the parking lot at 4. Yeah. Did people tailgate concerts?
I don't.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know.
Taylor's like, yes.
I don't tailgate, so I don't know.
Taylor tailgates.
Hey,
Yeah, they do.
on a serious note, you mentioned 300 to 400 children that are homeless, and I think I wanted to just real briefly.
Sorry.
I wanted to really briefly go over this because. Just real quick, and then we'll have Chris on. I appreciate Chris hanging out with us this morning. I learned about this in Georgetown. Karen Crosby, Mason Crosby used to play for the Green Bay Packers. He's a Super Bowl kicker for the Packers back in the day. Mason grew up in Georgetown. And Karen had started something called the Locker. Now the Locker's all over the state. And it's basically they put in hygiene items for kids in schools, because how embarrassing would it be if you were a high schooler and you didn't have deodorant,
Right.
or you didn't have socks?
Right.
The bare minimum.
The bare minimum. And there's tons of young people that don't. And Karen found that need, and Mason helped get this thing going. And now it's all over the state, and I think it's even all over there. They've expanded it to the nation. It's called the Locker. And what they do is they have a kind of an obscure area in each school to where they put those items, and those students who need them can come in there without judgment and grab whatever they need, and no one would ever know. And that program has grown. Well, through that, I learned about the homeless issue that we have in schools. I always thought homeless meant you were under a bridge, didn't have a house, homeless, right? But homeless in the context of young people means that maybe they don't have a place at their own home. They don't have parents who are there for them.
Right.
They're sleeping on couches at friends' places. As you said,
Or in their car.
they're sleeping in cars. So when you think of the word homeless, don't think of it in the stereotypical way of someone living under a bridge with tattered clothing, that's not getting a bath, all of those things that you think about when you think of homeless. There are kids, though, that are in those situations that don't have a home that they can go to every single night. That's the problem.
And there's a lot of pride involved in that with some of these children and young men. I know that Wes and I met a young man who was, and we took him to dinner, and y'all, I mean, we live in Huntsville. We took him to Chili's because it was just an easy evening to say, you know, you kind of eat whatever you want. We didn't know what he liked to eat or whatever. He'd never been there in his whole life. He didn't eat out. He was living in his truck, sleeping in his car. It was, at that time, it was very cold. We invited him to come home with us, and he goes, no, I'm fine. He had a blanket that social services had provided him. He had two if it was really cold. His cousin lived in a small apartment, and his cousin would let him, like, he'd park in the parking lot outside so he could have Wi-Fi so he could do his homework. And so there's just a need that we don't realize. And he didn't want to accept help. He wanted to do it on his own. He was going to school. I'm not sure that he finished. He was a senior. We were just trying to help him get to the end, and he was like, no, I'll do it. I'm good. And so just really want to, I mean, I think God calls us to take care of children, and he does. And so it's, they may not feel like children, but when you're 60 years old, you know that when you're 15 or 16, you're still a child.
Yeah.
You're a baby.
And so, yeah, you're a baby. So anyway, we need to do that. And so if we can help our social services ladies who do such an incredible job provide those things for them, they help do their laundry. They help, you know, and just in so many ways. I've got to make a couple of phone calls today to talk about that a little more. But anyway, so we're excited about being able to bring this and really want the whole community to share it, let people know. We want to get youth groups and youth ministers involved to help bring their kids. And it's going to be a great community night. We just need to spread the word and get everybody to come.
That's it. And if you're a heathen, come. We want you to.
If you're a heathen, still come.
They're three heathen brothers.
Enjoy the Christmas music.
Yeah, come on and have fun, guys. So that's all right. My last name's Hip, so I was always called Hip the Hypocrite growing up, you know. I won't tell you the other
I
part
figured
of
it's
it.
going to be hipster.
Yeah.
We went cool, and you were like, no.
Yeah, it's not that
Okay,
cool. So
well.
thank you, Karen. Appreciate you being
bet.
here. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Thanks for the invitation.
And I love your colorful shirt. It just looked
Well-
great on camera. That shirt.
We were talking about this.
I was telling her, I
look at
said,
that.
this shirt is so wild. I said, it made me,
that.
when I looked in the mirror on the way here, like in the rearview mirror, I thought, oh my word, I thought of that quote from Steel Magnolias where she said, you are too twisted for color TV. I thought, I think this might be that shirt.
Well, it looks beautiful with the purple behind
Well,
you.
great,
you know?
great.
Yeah, there you go.
I
So,
did it on purpose. Yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
All right. Well, there she is, Karen Alton, Postcards Magazine.
y'all.
We appreciate her support, her and her husband Wes, the whole family, just a great family, and what a tremendous asset here to Huntsville. We love you, Karen. Thank you so much.
Love y'all too.
Well, we're going
Appreciate
to take a break. As always, we couldn't have friends like Karen on here if it wasn't for Postcards Magazine, if it wasn't for Walker County Federal Credit Union.
Absolutely.
They are your full-service community credit union serving Walker County since Hines 1957. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. Chris Brown joins us on the other side. It's Jump Around Chris Brown. We need to get that rah, rah. We need to get some good hip-hop music going, man. We'll AI that during the break. It's Chris Brown coming up when we come back. Stay with us. This is your show. It is Good Morning Huntsville. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us, please.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope. Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside. Spirit by still, Spirit Radio.fm.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Here it is. You ready for this, Chris? I don't even know what it's going to say.
I just saw the title.
Huntsville heat where the stars collide. Moonwalk steps got the city wide-eyed. Jumping like rockets, we don't play tame. Every move slick, it's a highlight frame. Texas nights loud with the baseline thump. Sweat on the floor when the sneakers jump. Big dreams spinning like a rodeo ride.
I'm waiting for the hook.
Alive, we don't ever hide. Jump around, feel the ground quake under. Move so sharp, it's a lightning thunder. Spin and flip it, we don't touch the ground. Jump around, break it down. Jump around, feel the ground quake under. Move so sharp, it's a lightning thunder.
You feeling it, Taylor? It's coming.
She's
Getting there.
I'm like, oh, I told you my back hurts. I'm a little lady.
I was hoping it would say "Jump Around Chris Brown," but it didn't take in what I told it. So
Yeah, AI is so crazy.
Isn't that
man.
cool, dude? We
So that just happened? You created that in like...
during the commercial break, jump around. It was supposed to say "Jump Around Chris Brown, jump around."
Where normally like 5 or 10 years ago, you might pay a lot of money for something like that,
A
but
little short snippet.
It even gives you a second version. Just, hey, you know it's a good song when it goes, hey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Out in Huntsville streets, stars don't fade. Dreams get louder, plans get made.
I think they're talking about
Walking
the song.
slick like MJ Shade. Texas heat, but the cool don't trade. Got that bounce.
There it is. It's supposed to say "Jump Around Chris." Welcome in, Jump Around Chris Brown, dude.
yeah. Thanks.
Hey, Taylor,
What an intro.
fix this real quick. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like I breathe loud.
That's all right. Chris Brown with us. Jump Around Moonwalks, man. Good to have you on, brother, man. I know there's a lot going on. Chris has been a friend of this program, man. I wanted to thank you for all that you do. And I know we talked about Karen, but Chris, man, you're always looking out for people. You know, there's an old country song like "People, Loving People." I'm in a singing mood, even though I'm horrible this morning. But that's you, man. You're always helping people. You're a humble dude. And whenever I saw something that you post, I said, I need you to come on the show this morning and talk about this. Before we announce what that is, what have you been up to, man?
Jeez, man, I try to have my hand in a little bit of everything, and not to jump too soon into the memorial stuff, but just talking about Charlie Kirk for a second. One thing that Charlie really taught me as a man, as a person, is finding your purpose. And ironically enough, I was at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training last night, and the gym I was at, I'm actually somewhat of a coach there, and one of the students asked, he's like, "I want to ask you something." And he said, "What is the purpose of life?" Just caught me off guard. I thought he was about to ask me about a move, about something for this our upcoming match on Saturday or whatever, and I sat there, I was like, wow, you really caught me off guard. And what I've caught myself doing here lately is referring back to Charlie Kirk as a standard for myself. And my only answer, whether it's a good one or a bad one, I don't know, was the purpose of life is purpose, to have purpose. And so here lately, you asked what I'm doing, just trying to find my purpose. My purpose is, trying to create a model for myself, a model for my children. So I've been training again, trying to get my health back.
Nice, man.
Because an unhealthy father to me is not a good father. So I'm trying to be a healthy father. I'm trying to be a healthy husband and a healthy man. So that's what I've been doing.
Well, I'm trying to get a bunch of money on this program so I can hire you as my security guard, honestly. I mean,
Let's do it.
I'd like to have that, man.
Hey, Lainey got second in her jiu-jitsu competition last weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
My daughter was like, this big.
Those are some of the best.
Well,
actually.
she's so fast.
Yeah.
She's so fast.
You know, I wanted to, the word purpose, I'm so glad you brought that up, Chris, because I want people, and here's the inspiration this morning. When you wake up, think of, what are you waking up for? What are you waking up for in the morning? Are you waking up just to go to work? Are you waking up just to pay the bills? Are you waking up just to get through the day? Or are you waking up for your family? Taylor, you have a daughter. You're waking up for your daughter. Chris, you have a family. You have a wife. You have kids. You're waking up for your wife and your kids. As a Christian, I say we wake up for the Lord. You know, He created us to please Him ultimately. But how can we live that life out? We got to be present. We got to be there for people.
Amen.
And Taylor, I know you've walked a tough line. You've had a lot happen, but here you are as a mom there for your daughter. That means a lot. Here you are, Chris. Your story. A lot of people know your story, you know, from what you came through and what you went through. But here's a guy that's full of so much hope and says, I'm going to do what I can for my children, for my family. And I think that is something that's so important. And so when you think about the word purpose, think about that. That's a good way for some of you to question what that purpose may be, is when you wake up, think about, what am I waking up for today? And if the things that you're waking up for don't make sense, then change those things and make it make sense. I'll say this, not to preach a mini sermon, but our pastor here at First, he relayed something. I've learned so much in 2 years under Pastor Jason, man. I know y'all have got a great church over at Family Faith as well, man. But Jason said something that hit me. You know, I was in the broadcasting world I guess I still am. We're broadcasting right now.
I'm like, you were, yes.
But, you know, I used to do college broadcasting, and I always thought that was my purpose, right? I thought, man, I'm going to go to here at Sam, and then I'm going to go to Fargo and broadcast for North Dakota State, and then the NFL or the NBA. A mentor had told me that was right around the corner, and I thought that was my purpose, man. That's what I was supposed to do. And then all of a sudden, all that changed when we had our second child and we found out. And I realized I was never home. I was making great money. I was supporting my families, every dream I could ever imagine. But I was not present. And I told Bridget, I said, we got to go back to East Texas. And then everything dramatically changed. And Jason here, and the reason I brought him up is he said something. He said, sometimes we're so focused on our dreams that we forget about the dreams that God has for us. And I was like, whoa, man. And that hit me big time. So I started questioning, what are the dreams that our Creator has for us? What are the dreams He has for me? And then, boom, it turned into whatever, where we're at now. So I just say that no matter where you're at in your faith journey, no matter where you're at in life, wake up this morning and think about, what am I waking up for? And if some of you are in the deepest valley, the deepest pit right now, I want to tell you there is hope. Don't stay in that valley. Surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up. I've always said, if you're not around people who are lifting you up, you're around people who are letting you down. Move those people out of your life. Chris, you and I probably have a similar story in some areas. I bet there's some overlap. I was around some people that were friends. I'm not going to sit here and dog on them and say they were bad people, but I was involved in stupid stuff in my 20s that I wish I could go back and never do that. I didn't commit any horrible crime, but I've always said that there's a reason that some people are on this side of the walls unit and that side of the walls units because they never got caught.
Right.
And there's stupid stuff that I was engaged in that if I would have got caught, something probably could have happened, just being involved with the wrong people. It's nothing horrible. It's not like I did anything super horrible.
We're all going to Google you.
Yeah, Google. You won't find nothing. But I'm saying, drinking and driving, stupid stuff that I did where I could have hit somebody and then taken that person's life because of stupid decisions that I made. And by the grace of God, I didn't. And that's what I'm talking about. I could have easily been on that side.
How life-altering that would have been.
Like that, in one instant. And so when you wake up, think about, what are you waking up for?
And are you living or are you existing?
Yeah, that's
There's
good.
a big difference.
That's good. Well, man, we all know the things that happened over this last week now. And I remember exactly where I was at. You can always attach emotion to events that happen, and then all of a sudden your brain is like super brain and you can remember everything. Like I remember almost every detail of September the 11th. I remember that vividly of where I was at in school and the entire day, and now forever etched. And like when my dad passed last year, I remember everything about that day. It's so weird how I remember that. I remember my mom calling me at this awkward time, and I knew what she was going to say, even though it didn't make sense. And then I fast forward to this week, and I know everything about what happened last week. I can remember that day vividly. I get the call from my brother. Charlie Kirk was a guy I didn't start following until a month ago. I'd heard about him because it started showing up in the algorithms.
Yeah, it's hard to miss him.
And I was like, man, this guy's got some really good stuff to say. And if you look at someone without bias, and I understand we put bias on people because of things that we've heard. Most of what we've heard is things that are hearsay that we apply. Like a person, how many times are we quick to judge a person based on what somebody else said when we've never met that person?
Yep.
You know, it's happened to me in the media business, like
and
crazy.
the clips that have been shared of, oh, he said this. And I think a lot of what I have seen, because I followed him for a while. I tried to be a Turning Point kid, but
TPK is what it's called. A TPK.
oh, I was like,
I'm just
what?
kidding, just
That's
made
not
that
a
one up.
thing. Don't confuse me like that. I'm like, that's not it. But a lot of his things were context. Context is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and I'm guilty of it. I don't know if y'all are guilty of it. I will
We're
see
all
something,
guilty of it.
share it, and I'm like, ooh, that may come across one way. And that's not what I meant to say.
Yeah. Because you can look at one little book, and that's why it's so important in a biblical way to not take one little piece of the Bible and then all of a sudden say that's what it meant. I mean, if we just take the eye for an eye, then we're thinking we need to go gouge out everybody's eye.
Yeah.
That's what's called an hyperbole to describe the seriousness of the Bible. I've always said it like this, and it's the same in life. Sometimes we take things literal, but there are times that we need to take everything serious. And that's the way I look at that. But so, yeah, going back to that, my brother calls me. I'm out here in my truck, getting in my truck, unloading some stuff. My brother, his phone's cutting in and out. And I said, let me call you back. And I called him. He's like, Charlie Kirk got shot. I was like, what? I was like, I just started following that dude. And, you know, you hear it got shot, you don't think of immediately. And then this is where and I don't like using the word hate. This is where I absolutely hate the internet. Because there's stuff that's allowed to be on there, that gets on there, that you wish you could unsee. Mm-hmm. And I did not intentionally go and search for the shooting. But right there on my feed, the old thumb scrolling, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, and you can't take your eyes off of that. There's a dopamine in your brain that says, I want to see more. I need to see what happens. And all of a sudden, and I want it. And in that moment, I knew, I was like, I got to scroll, and I couldn't. It was too late. That's something I wish I would have never seen. And shame on whoever shares that stuff. Because as parents who have children, I monitor what my children do. They don't get on the tablets. We don't have a tablet. They get on the Facebook portal in the living room. Mm-hmm. But I try to monitor that. What if that would have showed up to my little 4-year-old as she was watching a kid's YouTube? You never know.
Kids' YouTube is, stuff gets on there, you know, and it's historical at this point. It's a historical moment that easily could be persuaded onto YouTube Kids.
Yeah. So, Chris, I wanted you to come on. You know, we've seen a lot of really great ways that people are honoring this man's life. And I believe we are in the midst of a revival. I believe we've been in a revival for 2 years, honestly. I really do. Yeah. I shared earlier, somebody had posted, we need a revival. I'm like, where have you been at, sister? Because there has been one. We are seeing church attendance. Even before last week, we are seeing attendance in the local church going up. Because I think that bias that people have now of those that don't go is the church is all about money. I think that's finally starting to get pushed to the side now. That it's not all about money. Now, some of them, yeah, they probably are. But most of them, and I guarantee the ones here in Huntsville aren't that way. Mm-hmm. It's a community of believers coming together to lift people up. We're seeing that, Chris. And I think we saw it tremendously. I mentioned earlier at the beginning, and then I want you to highlight this event. I had posted a comment about that. And a friend of mine, she said their church had over 100 guests on Sunday. 1,200 showed up for Sunday school.
That's fantastic.
I'm like, good night, man. Where'd they all come from? Now, that wasn't in Huntsville. That was in North Carolina. But there was a lot going on in North Carolina. Now, I'm trying to sound Louisiana. I'm trying to sound like
that was pretty good.
I'm trying to sound like Odell over at the Cajun Barber, and it ain't working. But Chris, tell us what's going on, man. The Lord put something, I believe, on your heart, and you want to share it with us, and it's something that I think is really important, man.
Yeah. So I organized a candlelit memorial for Charlie Kirk here for Walker County. Somebody had actually, messaged me and asked me if I knew of one happening, and I was like, man, I haven't seen anything yet, but I would love to see it. And all it takes is just one person stepping up. I think, not to go too far deep into it, but I think people are still somewhat a little, nervous to speak up. But one thing that I absolutely loved about Charlie Kirk is his ability to speak in any atmosphere.
To anybody.
And mainly to people that hated him. He wasn't there more so for the dialogue of the people that loved him. He was there to have conversations with the people that did not love him, that wished ill will on him. And so I wanted to, create a tribute to that. I didn't obviously know Charlie Kirk as a person, and there's many events that have been going on that absolutely deserve, their own recognition. I've caught a lot of backlash and a lot of bad name calling over me having a memorial for this one person. I believe that anything and everybody that has lost their life, natural or unnatural, deserves that recognition. And
Can I say something on that? Because you're probably going to say this, and I'm gonna support you on this. If you're one of those, because I saw some vile comments, Chris.
Very bad.
And my first reaction is anger, but then I'm like, yeah, I'm angry about it, but I'm not going to go act on anything about that. But I'll say this: if you are so passionate about something, then do something.
Exactly.
That
was the response.
What is preventing you? Because I've seen all these comments about, well, what about the memorial for them? What about you stepping up doing it?
Exactly.
You know what? It's like my friend Joshua Harris always says, don't just talk about it, be about it.
Right.
And if you're going to step up today and be about it, you cannot sit in the passenger seat or in the back seat and make comments about something unless you are actively doing something.
Right.
Don't tell me how to drive my car. If you don't like the way I'm driving, then go get another car and drive yourself.
Right.
And from what I know about you, if somebody were to come to you and be like, I don't agree with you, but I want to do this event, can you help me?
Right.
You would be more than happy to help.
Yeah, because there was a few that were bringing up the murder of starts with an M. One of the Democratic.
Yeah, in Minnesota, the families,
yes.
the family, which was tragic. That's terrible.
And if somebody wanted to create a memorial, for that here in Walker County, I'm more than willing to help. Me personally, I don't get involved. I have my own views, I have my own beliefs and things like that, but I don't get involved in these, just because you're a part of something else, I have to automatically hate you. I have to automatically condemn you. That's not my job. That's not my job at all, and I'm going to leave that to whoever's job that is, and mainly the Lord. But if you want to create something, or if you want to organize something, go for it.
Go do it.
And there was a part,
But don't. Here's the thing. Go do it. But don't go around knocking somebody who you probably don't know. Like,
Right.
and this is where I was getting at earlier. It is not fair to start something and say something about somebody that you don't know. I know Chris. I know his heart. I know what he stands for. I know what he represents. And I know this man loves everybody. No matter what walk you're on, no matter where you're at in your faith journey, no matter what you believe, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on, this man loves everybody, and he genuinely wants to help everybody. And so I'll defend you. For anybody to come back and lash out at you, you're lashing out at a lot of people, and it's totally unacceptable. But because of this thing called the internet, we have people that feel that they can type these things and send in these comments and there be no consequence. Well, guess what? We live in a society now where there are consequences, and you better be careful.
For people.
And that's all I'm going to say. I'm very passionate about that, Chris, because I know you, and I'm not just saying it to get riled up on the show, because it's a positive show. We're always positive.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you right now, don't come attacking a friend that you don't know anything about, that you don't know this man's heart and what he stands for and what he represents. Because if you were out in the street and you didn't have a shirt on your back, he's going to take off his shirt and put on you. And he's not going to ask what your political beliefs are. He's not going to ask if you know the Lord. He's just going to do what we're called to do in life. And it's what I opened up with about being a better person to people. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to fill that in.
Good job, Rob. You're going to make me choke up on the show.
But it's the truth. But it's the truth, man.
I
thought it was going to be the song that got you.
Yeah, I just don't stand for that, because it's not fair to talk about somebody unless they're there to defend themselves.
Exactly.
And have I been guilty of it? Yeah, man. And I've worked really hard, especially, my story, man, what happened over the last 3 or 4 years. It's been really hard for me to just zip it and move on.
Yeah.
But we have to do that sometimes, because when we harbor bitterness and when people are talking about you, something you're trying to do that's so great because it's something you believe in, which is your God-given right and your freedom here in this country, when people do that, man, it's not fair. They have got to be respectful of you.
Yeah.
So,
and
anyways.
I think that's the main gist of what most people in our society today need to learn is just respect. for others. It's crazy. And it's hard to find your path of how you want to talk about this, because this is such a
We're going to start a new show. It's going to start at noon today.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Taylor, come back.
My initial reactions, obviously, of like as soon as I see those posts or those comments on my post, is anger. Because and not to get into details, but yeah, there was this one particular man. I mean, he used some very, very, very colorful language.
I saw it.
And then said, you probably never even helped anybody, and I've done this, that, and the other. And I'm like, that's a prime example. Not to toot my own horn, I don't need that recognition, but that's a prime example of you truly do not know me. Mm-hmm. Yet you didn't take even 5 seconds to try to get to know me, and you automatically, 1, labeled me, and 2, assumed you knew my character. And that's the art of social media nowadays. And that's the art of our civilization, is that we can see somebody and we automatically judge them and create our own assumption because either the color of their skin, maybe a shirt or a hat that they're wearing, or anything like that. That's not who they are. It's okay to you have to dig through all of that to see what's on the true inside. And I absolutely hate I think it's okay. It's okay in today's society to have your own opinion of what you believe in. It doesn't mean that what I speak on is right or better for your life. You might support something different, and that's okay. But when you start tearing somebody up and celebrating somebody's death,
zero call for that.
That shows a different side of our humanity that is pretty hard to accept for me.
Thereof.
Or lack thereof humanity. That shows a different side that is very hard for me to accept.
I'm just going to be blunt and honest, and this isn't political. So don't. And again, because that's where our mind goes immediately, it wants to go political because of the climate we live in. Yeah. Do you see cities being burned down right now after the death of Charlie Kirk? Do you see people out on the streets fighting? No, you see people. You see people coming together, trying to honor this man's life, not tear up their city, not tear up their community, not bash other people. But what do you see? You see people coming in trying to destroy that. And I'm not saying it from any political side. I'm just saying we see it. But there's still peace in that. And that's the openness that we have to have. We have to allow people. People can have their own thoughts. I want to stand for truth in what I believe.
Well, even like we were just talking about that video that I posted, that I lost, I shared one post and lost, like, I know it sounds so petty, like 100 followers. And I was like, if removing me from your life brings you peace, that's fine.
That's your right.
Right. It doesn't affect me. But the other thing is, it's like, why could we be friends before you knew that about me? Why is this an issue now? If it's never come up in the, 5-10 years we've been friends, why? And I do think that there are hills that are worth taking on, and that's just not one of them. It's just eye-opening to how many people, like you said, put a blanket over one view, and that's how they view. Change my mind. That was another big thing that Charlie was about. He was like, change my mind.
Yep.
That was literally it.
It was an open dialogue.
I've been blessed, Chris, just like you, and probably you too, Taylor, to have friends that don't share the same beliefs as me. And I do believe this. I'm going to stand on some truth and say we need to surround ourselves with people who do share our beliefs so that we can unite and grow in that. But it's also okay to have people that don't share those same beliefs that you can communicate with, that you can call friend. Right. And I have multiple people in this community. And right now in my mind, I'm thinking of 3 or 4 just like that politically we have nothing in common. Right. We would never get along if that's all we talked about was politics. But you know what? We've moved past that. We don't talk about politics. We just talk about life, and we talk about how to support each other. And if we can do that, then I think that's a great thing for everybody to think about. Move past, like you said, putting a label on people, and try to see people's heart and what they represent and help them. That's what I stand for, man, because I believe that's what Christ would stand for. But there was also firm foundational beliefs in that there are certain things that aren't acceptable. You got to stay rooted. You've got to stay on your foundation, and you can't deviate. And that's what you talked about. Some things you learned from Charlie Kirk, man, just in the short month I started watching. And I'm sure I've seen him over the years, but I just never started focusing. I mean, I've learned to be a better husband.
Amen.
I've learned that I need to treat my wife better. And he made a comment. And there's some times where I raise my voice at Bridget. I get upset, man, I'll raise my voice. And I do it to my kids, and I feel terrible about it. Taylor's never raised her voice at her daughter.
Ever.
She's an
I don't
angel.
ever yell.
Yeah, she's an angel. She's never done that. So she doesn't know what we're talking about, Chris.
And if somebody's heard me yell, no, you didn't.
But the truth is, Bridget shared something with me last night. And, we're in the midst of, mourning our poor dog. And she shared with me, and she didn't mean it towards me, but we were talking about him last night. And she goes, his wife shared something that he never once raised his voice at her. And I'm like, wow, have I failed as a husband?
Yeah.
Tremendously. And because of that, and I mean, my teachings first and foremost come from Christ. I mean, that's
right.
That's who I'm going to follow.
Amen.
God, family, country.
Yeah. But I see someone like Charlie is like, here's a guy that was on this earth that also was he's not Christ, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Christ is the ultimate inspiration. But here's a guy that I can relate to in some things too. Not that Christ is the ultimate relatable, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I used that same example the other day. I think it was an interaction with one of my twin boys, and I told my wife, I said, "You're gonna laugh at this, but I've started to use this expression in my mind because we've all grew up on what would Jesus do. I started to use this expression, what would Charlie do?" And not to, I'm not trying to idolize him.
You're not elevating him above Christ.
What I viewed Charlie as was a standard. I didn't know him as a person. I'm sure he was a good person if he, shown all these great attributes about himself. I know he was into football and he had his own personal life. But what he stood for in society is what helps me gauge my interactions with others, my family, and people friends and people that I don't know. I'll tell myself, because I'm the world's worst, man, and I think a lot of men are. We're kind of short-tempered, and so sometimes we get put into these stressful situations, and I'll tell myself, did I act appropriately?
Mm-hmm.
Would Charlie have done that? And I think that's a good standing. You can use anybody like that if
holding yourself accountable.
Holding yourself accountable, and accountability
with changes,
I think, is literally the word that could change the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right now in this world, I believe that we are on the complete opposite end of that spectrum. We're trying to hold others accountable. We're always trying to point the finger. I think accountability of yourself is what literally could change the world.
Yeah, because you can say things on the internet and there are no repercussions.
Right.
Because
I'm
not going to say 9 times out of 10, but pretty high, that nobody's going to say what they say online to your face.
No,
right,
I agree. I think
maybe not to you. They probably do it to me, but
Taylor will straight up.
My
tell
daughter
you.
knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you better not talk
She'll
bad to me.
beat you up.
I think I think, you look at Christ as the example. You speak truth with grace. And if we could all speak truth to people with grace.
Amen.
And think about the word grace. Well, truth, think about what truth means and think about what grace means. And grace is handling things in a way that comes across as loving, compassionate, and caring. How can we have grace for others but still maintain what we believe to be truth?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing, is how can we do that? And you have to be graceful. And you don't have to be right. That's the problem. Everybody wants to be right.
And there isn't a right or wrong
in
most of these cases.
Some things
yeah,
are.
So I'm like, well.
But you're right. I mean, you're right, Taylor.
Because how you were raised, it changes how you were viewed. And I feel like, yes, we all grew up very different, I'm sure. We grew up probably more similar than most other people, some other groups.
Mm-hmm.
And how we were raised, we can't say, hey, how you are taught is wrong. Is it something I agree with? No. But we can be respectful and we can be kind and educate me. Give me an opportunity to learn your point of view before you are just slamming me for being, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Be able to articulate why I'm wrong.
Right.
Well, Chris, the Lord's put this on your heart and wanted to circle back. A vigil being held. Is that this Saturday? Is that correct?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow.
From 6 to 7?
Yeah.
September 18th.
That is tomorrow. Where did that come from? I thought that was Saturday. I'm glad.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night. Explain more about kind of the time and all that, Chris.
Okay, so it's September 18th, tomorrow, Thursday. It's going to be from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Originally, I was going to go for like 6 to 7, but then I noticed it's not getting dark till a little bit after 7. I didn't want to go too late on a weekday and people not be able to make it. So 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a candlelit memorial. It's a peaceful service. If you're on the fence, just know that there is law enforcement that's going to be present, so as safe as it can be. I don't know the turnout. I've never hosted something like that before, but I do know that there's been over 600 people that have checked in to the event page collectively between going and interested. So I do believe there's going to be a great turnout. There will be, a memorial set up for Charlie, which, I've bought quite a few candles for. I've also bought over 200 of those handheld candles with the hand protectors, so we can give those out to at least 200 people. I am asking people that they bring their own candle. And then also wear your most patriotic, outfit.
Is it just going to be a silent service? Is there anyone going to lead prayer, or is it just kind of a silent thing?
Yeah,
Have you thought about that?
So what I intended, or what I'm planning to do, there is going to be, the setup. There's going to be some Christian music or patriotic music playing. I do hope that at some given point, either during the middle of it, or towards the end, that I can maybe gather a group and I'll try to lead in prayer over this. And if anybody else wants to pray also, they're more than welcome. But the main thing of it was just trying to, show our condolences to that family.
And just to reiterate, this is open to anybody, regardless of beliefs, as long as it's peaceful.
Yes. Yeah, because there's some other people. I think there was one young lady saying that she's going to show up and she's going to show, her own recognition and memorial to the other events that have happened. That's okay. We're in a public space. We'll be at the memorial will be more so located towards the corner of 11th Street and Sam Houston Avenue, right there by the courthouse on the sidewalk and stuff like that. I'm sure there's going to be people that will show up and have their own opinions or their own beliefs, and there's probably going to be, some conversations that might happen, and that's okay, as long as everybody is peaceful. I think that's what Charlie would want most, is for people to show up and be able to talk, and the biggest thing that I hope for tomorrow is, aside from what the event is intended for, is that maybe there is some diversity of people there, and maybe it might show a little bit how much people truly care about this country, and maybe we can start, stop throwing jabs and start throwing hugs.
Yeah.
Stop throwing hate and start throwing love. And that's my intention, is to go there. And if, my wife, I love her. She was super scared about this event. And I said, the world is a scary place.
But you got to have faith over fear, and I get where she's coming from.
Yeah,
but I've always thought about that.
It doesn't matter if it's a one-on-one interaction or if it's a crowd event like that. You have to show that you're the bigger person and that you're going to stand up for what is right. And if right means love and peace, you need to represent that well. You can't go in there and represent something that they think that you're going to do is like, spewing hatred or whatever. You have to go in and you have to show your intentions. Hey, I'm calm. I'm peaceful. I love you. I want to pray for you. And if we can't agree on anything else, at least we can give each other a hug and show that humanity still exists.
Huntsville's a place you can hug someone and tell them you love them. Like Karen was just sitting there, so I would love you, Karen. And, I think Jess just commented in, and I won't read the full comment, but they said, I'm considering moving back to Huntsville. I went to Sam in 2014 to 18. They said, would you say Huntsville is still mostly conservative Christian? And then made some comments about the university changing things. It was fine when I went, but it seems times have gone crazy lately. I will say this. Our university is led by a faith-filled woman, a believer.
Yes.
Our president of our university is a believer. Our university is accepting of all people. And
I feel like most of Huntsville is.
Yeah, and I was going to say that Huntsville is a community rooted in faith. And I'm not afraid to say that. It truly is. I don't want to get into labeling it a conservative versus liberal or any of that.
Yeah.
But if you want to speak the truth, yeah, it typically leans conservative. I typically lean conservative. But it is a faith-filled community. I can openly say that. Every meeting I go to is usually opened up in prayer. We say, and we're patriotic. I learned the Texas pledge because of Huntsville. I've never been in a community.
So when you were taught the Texas Pledge, Squirrel, were you taught like this, or were you taught like this?
Like this.
Okay, do you know what I'm talking about? So now when they do the Texas Pledge, they do this?
I've never seen that. I always still do this.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
What does that symbolize?
I don't know.
Texas, oh Texas, you come back to me. I don't know what that means. I
That
just
was
made up the song.
adorable.
It was a
Yeah,
good
I'm
song.
I
I'm
like
gonna
that
go
you're
back
doing
to
all
it.
the jingles
Yeah.
today.
So, but no, I to answer your question, Jess, it's a faith-filled community. It really is, and it's my desire. I talked to Andy Broniger about this. Faith is part of the culture of Huntsville, and when I moved here many years ago, I'm an outsider looking in, right? I'm just some outside guy from Central Texas that came here to broadcast Division I sports, was blessed with the opportunity, and I wanted to embrace the culture, not overrun it. I have ideas about certain things, and I'd like to see growth here and there, and I think growth is a great thing if it's managed. But Andy said this. He goes, Mayor Broniger said this. He said, my greatest concern is I leave this mayoral position. He goes, I know I'm going to be filled in by someone great. But he said, my biggest concern is in the next 30 years, will Huntsville still have its culture? And friends, I believe that culture is still alive and well, and it is, and it has to be rooted in faith. The culture has to be rooted in faith.
And I think it is important to note, I mean, I'm not going to tell you to say your age, but I think our generation pushing God first.
Yeah.
And that's the commonality is really what's important, because I don't think either of us plans on moving out of Huntsville anytime soon. And there's plenty of other people just like us that
We already have the U-Haul. I'm just kidding.
I ain't going nowhere. Go back to Georgetown.
We have Taylor on the show. She's going to start leading the show soon, so that's why I'm just training her. You know, no, I'm just kidding. We're not
like that.
We're not leaving.
But I do think finding like-minded people to help the people in the community realize, okay, I'm not by myself. And, you know, we are both raising people were a good moral compass. Like your boys are seeing you, hey, dad is putting himself in a situation because that's something he believes in. And that's a purpose that he feels. And feeling like leading your boys to see that, like, they can pursue their purpose even when it's scary.
Amen.
Like, I think that's really
Yeah.
a good thing.
Well, we'll wrap up here in just a second. Thank y'all for going over. I know you got to get to work, Taylor, and we got a lot going on today here.
No, I'm
at
taking over the
FCU.
show. Just kidding.
Tammy said this. I wanted to show this comment. Tammy, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think she moved from California. But she said, I moved to Huntsville 3.5 years ago, and I love this. Check this out. She said, and I felt accepted from everyone that I have met. I do love this town.
Amen.
That's the whole point of our platform here, is I see so much good in Huntsville. And we wanted to promote that because there is much more good. And Jess, to answer your question, yes, I love living here. I love being in this community with my children. I love that this community is rooted in faith.
Absolutely.
It is a huge part of Huntsville, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Oh.
And so, man, if you came to school here and you think things are changing, things always change. You're in Leander, so you've seen a much more broader change like I did in Georgetown. But Huntsville is such a unique community. It really is. And there's so much beauty here. And there's so many good people. And I see it time more than not. And if you're looking for these negative things, you're going to find them. Mm-hmm. But I tend to look for the positive. And when I look for the positive, I see a community that comes together despite political beliefs, despite even spiritual beliefs of someone that may be a Christian and not a Christian. Time and time again, I see people coming together to help each other. That's what Huntsville's about. I've had 2 or 3 instances in the last 6 months where somebody's car has broken down in front of me, and people didn't continue to drive by. Like 5 of us all at once got out to help.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
That's Huntsville.
That is.
That's
Huntsville.
what we do in Huntsville. So, well, Chris, anything you wanted to wrap up with, man? Thank y'all for. I know it's been an extended show, but a really important conversation. I'd like to do this more often. It's really good. But anything final, man?
No, I want to show my appreciation for Huntsville. That I came to Huntsville in 2010, and I literally came here for what probably 90% of other people come for, and that's to come work at the prison. And one thing I wanted to kind of give credit to Huntsville for is amongst our hospitality, we have a lot of things that could actually pull a town like this back. That being all the prisons around, and all the evilness that lies within those. Because me spending 5 years of working there, I saw a lot of evil, and so that kind of being the foundation. But also you have the college, and I love Sam Houston University. I believe they're a lot different than a lot of colleges, but like you were saying earlier, a lot of colleges are based around that indoctrination, but I think that we have some really good leaders in Sam Houston University that you don't see a lot here, that you see elsewhere.
Correct.
And so, despite all the things that could hold Huntsville back, we still push through it all. And another thing that I noticed about Huntsville, and I could be wrong, there's a lot of churches here. Mm-hmm. This is not that big of a town.
42 is what my latest
and you would
count.
think that maybe there would only be maybe 5 or less. There are a ton. And
there's
maybe
more churches than restaurants.
Yeah.
And
maybe that shows a lot
Mexican restaurants.
I was
about
say
Huntsville and the intentions and what we're doing to combat the world's evil. So I just want to tell Huntsville, thank you very much for always having great hospitality towards me and all my friends and my family and everybody that's involved here, and the ones that were inquiring, like, what is Huntsville like? All I'm going to tell you personally is come find out for yourself, and I can almost assure you that you will absolutely love what you see.
Yeah, we came back from Fargo because we loved it. Everybody thought I was going to go back to Georgetown when we left Fargo. I was like, no, we wanted to be here in Huntsville. Yeah. Well, hey, one final thing. Chris, thank you. Tomorrow night, 7 to 8 at the Walker County Courthouse, just right around the corner from the church here. Make sure that you get over there. It's going to be at 13th at Sam Houston, right?
11th and Sam
11th
Houston.
Where should people plan on parking?
Maybe I should have asked law enforcement that. I imagine that it being so late, it's not going to impede on too many businesses. I would say personally, don't hold me accountable, but I would say personally on the back side of the courthouse, where all the in the square.
Okay.
I would say that you can maybe park across, or just be very careful crossing any streets and things like that. But if it were me, I'd park on the backside, like where the gazebo is and Sam's table and the face maker and all those places, and back there, just like it, and then make your way up.
I don't want to step out of line here because I always need to check with our administrator, but we have parking lots here that folks can probably park in.
Yeah.
We don't have. I'm looking here. We don't have anything going on tomorrow night. So
yeah, being so
just
late,
right
I'm sure most businesses
Yeah.
are not going to be open and would more than.
But please be
okay.
courteous if they are open.
Yeah.
Please be courteous. And another thing I ask, with everybody showing up, I would just ask that you please, if you bring any posters, if you bring any candles, because it is a bring your own candle event, please take that with you. Please don't leave that trash. I'm going to try to bring out trash cans and things like that for people to throw away stuff, but just please don't leave that on the host.
Parade candy.
I need a good workout, but that's a big area to cover.
How do they clean up all that candy after parades here in town?
I think they have the.
I think
it's sweeper trucks.
Yes,
but even still, I'm like, how do they get into the nooks and crannies?
They don't.
Hey, one final comment. Thank you, Chris, man. We appreciate it. Hang out with us because you'll close with this really quick. I don't know the full details of this, but if y'all know anything about that poor man, I think his name's John, and his dog, please find out how to get his dog back to him. He's a homeless man here in Huntsville. God put him on my heart 6 months ago. I was eating at McDonald's where that $3.99 Smiley's is. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The $3.99 gas price never changes over there. The one on 45. I'm eating at that McDonald's. I see this guy in a wheelchair, this beautiful kind of yellow lab sitting next to him. And the first thing I noticed, not being judgmental, I didn't notice any beer cans around this dude or anything like that. And you just look, I hate to say that, but it's true. I mean, I'm like, man, this guy may be struggling, and I want to help anybody, even if they did have, beer cans around him or whatever. But I was sitting there eating, and I felt like the Holy Spirit prompted me, go talk to this guy. And I kept ignoring it. I was like, I ain't going to go talk to that guy. I ain't got time to go talk to anybody. I was being selfish. And I started to back out of the parking lot. And I've never felt this impression so strong on me that said stop and go talk to the guy.
That's God going.
Yeah, 100%.
Nope,
It's the
nope.
Holy Spirit. And so I inched back in, and I went over and talked to him and met him. And that little dog nipped at me. It was a big dog, not little, nipped at me. Oh, he loves everybody or whatever. I ended up talking. We ended up praying with that man. And I'm not, again, like you said, Chris, I'm not putting myself up to say I did something, but I had some money in my wallet that I didn't know I was supposed to have in my wallet because I never carry cash in my wallet. And I just felt prompted to give it to this man. And that's the reason I mentioned the beer cans. My dad suffered from alcoholism. And I've always told, in honor of my dad, I've always tell people, if I have money to give them, I said, I will give you money. But if you use a dime of this for alcohol, I said, I will never give you another dime. And I tell them the story of my dad, who I loved very much and who brought me to faith despite his shortcomings, because we all have shortcomings. But I tell him the story of my dad, and I said, my dad right now in heaven would not want you drinking. I said, I guarantee it. And I said, if you take any of this to drink, I'll never give you another dime.
Yeah.
Well, that man I knew right away wasn't drinking. And we ended up praying and talking, and I felt something with this man, and we talked. And then I see on social media a few weeks ago, somebody apparently has taken his dog. Have you seen this?
Yeah, my mother brought it up. It was encouraging me to try to go take him down. I don't know a whole lot of the details.
I don't either, but
somebody took his dog, and apparently it might be located in Riverside.
Oh, I do know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I never saw the post.
I don't know the context. I don't
Right.
know the full story. I don't know enough about. But if this dog truly belongs to this man,
And the dog looked healthy.
the dog was super healthy. Yeah, he took better care of the dog than he did himself. The dog always had a water
Most
bowl.
of the homeless population do. They have a healthy, beautiful dog.
So if y'all do, I'm serious. If y'all know anything about this, bring it to send me a private message on Facebook. Let me know the details. And apparently he was mentioning something about, somebody saying you can get him back if you give him money or something. And I don't know the full truth of that. But if you know the full story, let us know, because there's something about this guy that I want to help.
Yeah.
And just keep him in your prayers. We have other people in this community that I pray for almost daily. Brandon is one of them. I love Brandon LaFleur.
Yeah.
There's something special about Brandon that I pray for, and God put him on my heart. And Brandon and I have actually had some conversation before.
Yeah.
And so just pray for those. And I'm mentioning all this because I want you to do this. The things that we've been talking about all morning. Don't jump to conclusions about somebody.
Right.
And don't stereotype people, because you don't know what they've been through and you don't know what they're going through.
Amen. That's
But
the
show
message.
mercy and show love and show grace on these people, because we all need it. So,
Preach.
well, that'll wrap it up. Taylor's got to get to work. She's got some accounts she's got to start slinging over at Washington
Also,
County
I did want to
Federal.
point out Chris's business is with us, and I think you might have personal with us too, don't you?
That's HIPAA violation, by the way. We're not allowed to mention that without his permission.
Well, I
I'm just
actually,
kidding.
don't do that to me.
I'm just kidding. Isn't
The
that
way
like
they-
isn't that a healthcare? I'm just
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
I'm
that's
just-
hospitals.
I'm just, yeah. So
I'm never
got
coming
her.
back.
Yeah. It's
Got
all right.
anxiety. You're not being very kind.
He's got anxiety. All right, well, that'll wrap. No, you're fine. That'll wrap it up. Chris signed an agreement, by the way, before he got on the show that allowed that disclosure. So
Yeah, it was on his account
You're
card.
lucky.
yeah. Hey, that'll wrap it up. We appreciate Chris for being here today. Karen from Postcards. A really good, longer discussion today, but something that I think needed to be discussed. We're all about promoting the good here on this platform, and if you have good that you want to share with us, let us know. Let Chris know. He loves promoting the good as well. For Taylor and Chris, I'm Rob Hipp, reminding you this morning, truthfully, that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We're really not. So please provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there needs you. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night. Come out and let's honor a great man, and let's honor this community as we come together in unity and promoting love amongst each other. We'll see you back at it tomorrow. Pastor Jason Bay hanging out with us on a Thankful Thursday. Make sure you join us. Until then, good morning, Huntsville. God bless, and so long. We'll see you back at 7:30. Have a great morning, everyone. See you, Chris. See you, Taylor.